Hi, I'm Etheria, and after a conversation I had with somebody last night at a vegetarian potluck, I thought I would make a little video explaining what it is that a channel does, or what we have happen. I mean, I'm just speaking for myself, but I'm assuming what happens to me is similar to other people who are channels. First of all, the first time I ever fully trance channeled was kind of an accident. I was, this was back in, I think, the year 2000. I was under hypnosis for the first time doing some past life regression work with somebody who was studying to be a hypnotherapist, so he was kind of practicing on me. And all of a sudden, in the middle of one of the past lives, I was suddenly pushed out of my body, is the best way I can explain it, and the me that I know as Etheria became like a speck over here to my right hand side. And at that point, I had zero control over my body. I had zero control over what came out of my mouth. Two different groups of beings came through that day, and they're both, it's hard to remember now because it was 15 years ago, but their speech patterns were very different. Their attitude was very different. One group sounded very kind of robotic and spoke very briefly and choppy. The other group kind of sounded like biblical British. It's hard to explain what they sounded like. But they had an agenda. They just wanted to talk because I was dying to ask questions. I mean, I felt like I was Horseshack from Welcome Back, Kotter, going, ooh, 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 with my hand up, going, let me ask a question. But I couldn't interrupt them at all until they finished. And I don't remember, needless to say, I don't remember a lot of it. I do remember there were a couple of things that they had mentioned that at the time I had never even heard of. They spoke of the lost continent of Lemuria. Supposedly I lived there. I had never heard of Lemuria at the time. I was familiar with Atlantis, but I had never heard that term. I had to go look it up. And they talked about the Mayan calendar, which I also had not heard of back in 2000. They didn't say the Mayan calendar by name. They just said that in 12 years your work is going to become important. And then later on I found out what they meant. But so anyway, that was the first time it ever happened to me. I then became rather intrigued, and I found out about this group that did channeling. So I went this one particular night just to watch them do their thing. And lo and behold, I wasn't just the audience. I suddenly was plopped into trance and started channeling, and I kind of took over. And a few people from that group flat out said to me, you need to learn how to do this. You have a gift. And they referred me to a wonderful teacher in the Los Angeles area named Shawn Randall. So I studied with her for a while because I couldn't control it at that point. So I wanted to learn how to do it at will, and also how to stop it if it was totally inappropriate, which she definitely helped me with. So that's kind of how I got started in that. I've been a psychic. My life changed in 1996, and I became very mediumistic because of healer Eric Scott Pearl. He kind of blew open my chakras. But through my whole life, I've had some random things happen, but I never really considered myself psychic until suddenly I started hearing voices, started knowing things, started having visions, started having dreams coming true in 1996. But anyway, when I do fully trance channel, one of the first symptoms I get is that my heart starts racing really bad. And because I'm hypoglycemic, sometimes I'll think that I'm just having a blood sugar episode or something, but then I'll realize, no, something else is happening here. So it starts with my heart starts to beat faster and faster, it starts to race. I will get pinprickly numb, kind of through my whole body. It's like I can kind of feel them just come in, is the only way I can explain it. And then it affects my breathing very dramatically. My body tends to contort a lot, and it scares some people who are not used to seeing it. I'm used to it now. Pardon me, I have some of my tea. It's like as they're coming in and their 1,000-watt energies trying to fit in my 100-watt bulb, it's hard on me physically, and my body does a lot of twisting around and twitching and gasping and all this stuff. Now, with time, it's not as severe as it used to be. Initially, it was pretty severe on me physically, and it's still hard on me physically. There is a reason why a lot of well-known trance channels have not lived long lives. And I also think it's part of the reason why I'm not allowed to do this when I'm alone. My gatekeepers, my guardian angels, somebody blocks me from doing any of this kind of heavy-duty trance work when I'm alone, because it is hard on me physically, and it's kind of, it can be depleting energy-wise. There are times when I've had to just go lay down and sleep for 2 hours afterwards. And also, it's a little risky spiritually. I've been very lucky in that I've only dealt with beings of the light. It's all been very positive. I've never had a negative experience, knock on something. But anyway, they don't let me do it unless I'm with a group of people. So I do think I need to be doing more of this. I did channel a few weeks ago unexpectedly at a meeting, and so that didn't get put on tape. But I do have a couple of my channelings on YouTube. But I need to get more. I need to be doing it more regularly, and I need to find some kind of a group or outlet where I can do that. Now, they will let me do what I call relay channeling if I'm alone. That's where I'm not in a full trance, where I don't really have control. I still have I still have control over my body. But it's like I hear them in my head, and I just type out or write down what they're saying. So that's safer, because I'm not totally giving up control, and I am allowed to do that if I'm home. So if I do some written channeling that I put on my blog, that's the situation usually. I'm partially there, partially not. And I just totally lost my train of thought. Bear with me a moment. I am a certain age. Oh, I know. But this nice lady last night that I was talking to, she was genuinely interested, and she was asking me a lot of questions about channeling. And she said, how do you know? So she was asking me in details, like, when I hear voices, what do I hear? Is it external with my ears? Is it in my head? Where is it? And it happens both ways. I have heard externally, like I'm just talking to a normal person. But I've also heard it more often, it's kind of in my head. But so then she said to me, she says, well, how do you know it's just not you? You're not, it's not your own mind thinking and coming up with things. And, my honest answer is because although they can be very authoritative and stern, in general, they have been much more loving than I am, much more understanding than I am. They have said things that Etheria would not say, because I don't always have patience. I get tired of people. I get fed up with things. I get grouchy. So they see things from a higher perspective than I honestly see. And also, they will occasionally say things that I just had no clue of. I mean, I had to go look it up because I didn't know what they were talking about. So that's how I know it's not me. Because I remember years ago when the book Conversations with God came out, where he was interviewing God, I thought, well, how does he know he's not just talking to his own higher self or whatever? And to be honest, he may have been. But then again, that higher self is much more connected than our normal limited human experience is. So his higher self is more directly connected to God anyway, and probably, and would give accurate answers. But you know, I don't know. And he certainly may have been talking to a very divine being. I wasn't there. But I'm trying to think, what's some of the common questions? Now, when I do, you know, if I do a psychic reading, I don't channel. I'm just being a psychic medium at that point. Although there have been times when, occasionally during a reading, something will come out of my mouth that I'll go, well, where'd that just come from? So channeling may slip in a little, but if I do a reading, I'm working strictly as a psychic and a medium, not as a channel. When I channel, it's a totally different experience. And I don't do that one-on-one. I do that for groups. I think that's it. But I do think this is why I'm on this planet. Well, you know, everything happens for a reason, and I have this gift for some reason. So I do need to be doing more with it. I need to find some kind of an outlet where I can be doing channeling on a more constant basis and be able to upload it to YouTube and stuff so other people can see it. But I'm trying to remember what they said a few weeks ago when I channeled. I know they were talking about New Mexico a lot, and that there was some pyramids of energy over the city of Albuquerque, actually, to try to alter the vibration here. But I'm forgetting it. I do think I blogged about it, though, while my memory was more fresh. But any of these times I channel, it's hard for me to then, after the fact, go and write stuff down because I'm not really there the whole time. I'm in and out. I'll catch things, I'll remember some things, and I won't remember other things because people who witnessed it will go, well, you know, when you said whatever, and I'm like, huh? I have no idea. So, you know, it's nice to see myself videotaped when I do it so that I can actually listen to what they say, because I'd like to learn too. But, well, so that's it for today. But this is Easter, so happy Easter to everybody. And I hope you're having a fabulous weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.